Democrats have exhibited for the world to see their demonic hatred of the American people in their celebration of the political assassination of Charlie Kirk. But guess what, folks? This isn't the first time they've reacted to death like demons. Watch my video, find out all about it. So we see these inhuman monsters celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, right? But we got to remember that this wasn't the first celebration of death that they've taken part in. There's been tragedy after tragedy where these leftists openly cheered and laughed and celebrated in the streets. I don't have to go back very far either. I mean, we have the example of the floods in Texas where these subhumans openly celebrated and mocked and jeered.
Dumb little girls, them people died because of racism, not politics. Boom, I said it. I don't give a fuck. I said no. Nope. Because more YT people will have to DIE in order for motherfuckers to what? CARE. I said what the fuck I said. I don't give a fuck, and minds are here with me. We voted the correct way. You reap what the fuck you sow. Just the night before the flash flood happened, y'all were okay with motherfuckers being stripped away from their motherfucking families and never seeing them again. People being deported. Y'all were okay with that. Be okay with not finding Sarah Lou. Be okay with not finding Billy. Be okay with never seeing them again. Keep that same energy, because I'm here for it.
Ruh-roh, Texas, what you gonna do? There's no FEMA to pick you up by your bootstrap. They gave it all to ICE. I'm kind of happy the National Weather Service gave incorrect predictions when it came to how much rain would fall, especially since the best and the brightest from that org were let go due to Doge, Elon, and Trump. Texas deserves the flooding. Cry harder. Texas deserves it. It's not awful. It's what Texas deserves. Texas deserves every flood God has spoken, and it hates Texas. The people in Texas voted for the government services controlled by Donald Trump and Greg Abbott. This is exactly what they're getting. Good, I'm glad. Did it take Rogan with it too? I can only hope. Texas deserves it. The gods will, of course. This is what God would have warned, right, Republicans? Ha ha ha. My empathy for these rednecks reject states is zero. So fuck them. I hope more come.
The fact that if you would have just voted for Kamala, that those kids in Texas and all those families in the RVs would more than likely still be alive. But instead you just made fun of her laugh while people were screaming at you that if he was voted in, people were going to die. And look where we are. A bunch of parents who can't protect their own kids.
I know I'm probably going to get canceled for this, but Camp Mystic is a whites-only girls' Christian camp. They don't even have a token Asian. They don't have a token black person. It is a all-white, white-only, conservative Christian camp. If you ain't white, you ain't right, you ain't getting in, you ain't going, period. And I think that context needs to be said in this matter. You have carved out an all-white, whites-only enclave in East Texas for your white children. Yeah, I have a problem with that. I have a big problem with that. Once again, this is no shade to the girls. I hope they all get found. But once again, y'all have to understand the climate that we're living in. They want you to have sympathy for these people. They want you to get out of your bed and to come out of your home and to go find these people and to donate your money to go find these people. Meanwhile, they are deporting your family members. Meanwhile, they're setting up concentration camps and prisons for your family members. And I need y'all to keep that in mind before y'all get out there and put on your rain boots and go find these little girls.
That was nice, huh? And then we got the example of these people openly celebrating and encouraging Luigi Mangione, the assassin of the CEO of that healthcare company. And we can't forget about how they celebrated Rush Limbaugh's death. National Review. Liberals celebrate Rush Limbaugh's death. Good riddance trends on Twitter. Liberals on Twitter celebrated the death of conservative radio icon Rush Limbaugh on Wednesday with their messages of disdain for the 70-year-old media legend, causing rest in piss, good riddance, and rotten hell to trend on the site. The idea that you say artificially nice things about people after they die is weird. I've never understood the logic of it. Rush Limbaugh was a terrible person while he was alive. He made a living by attacking the powerless. His death does not in any way change or redeem that, Young Turks host Cenk Uygur wrote. God has canceled Rush Limbaugh, Crooked Media host Aaron Ryan said in a tweet. Rush Limbaugh was one of the most harmful and poisonous people in the modern United States of America, said political analyst Jared Yates Sexton. His pursuit of wealth and power hurt untold numbers of people and wrought incalculable damage to politics as a public good, society as a whole, and the planet itself. It's easy to make fun of Rush Limbaugh right now, but it's important to remember that he also brought a lot of people a lot of joy by dying. TV writer Mike Drucker reacted. If I had to say something positive, I guess I'm glad Rush Limbaugh lived long enough to get cancer and die, comedian Paul Tompkins said. Meanwhile, mainstream media outlets took shots at Limbaugh in their prospective obituaries. The Washington Post and New York Times wrote headlines dubbing Limbaugh a provocateur. Rush Limbaugh, who deployed comic bombast and relentless bashing of liberals, feminists, and environmentalists, become the nation's most popular radio talk show host and lead the Republican Party into politics of anger and obstruction. Died February 17th at 70, the Post wrote. Rush Limbaugh, the relentlessly provocative voice of conservative America, who dominated talk radio for more than 3 decades with shooting gallery attacks on liberals, Democrats, and feminists, environmentalists, and other moving targets, died on Wednesday, the Times obituary read. CBS News shared its obituary in a tweet asking if Limbaugh was a conservative oracle or opportunist. The Huffington Post and Rolling Stone had searing headlines, with the former calling him the bigoted king of talk radio, and the later claiming Rush Limbaugh did his best to ruin America. So what do we do now that we find ourselves in this current hellscape, in which our fellow Americans are demonic, pro-assassinationist supporters of terrorism and violence? What do we do? Where do we go from this point? This is an inflection point. This is a point in which we will look back and shake our heads, and we'll either say, thank God things got much better from then on, or this was the turning point where things went horrible. We do not have to accept their leftist terrorism. We do not have to accept their celebration of murder and political violence. We can defeat them before things turn that bad. We must defeat them in the ballot box.